You have a question on wondering about your life purpose and if you're fulfilled in the work you do, in your relationships that you're in, or just in your life in general. Well, I promise you being part of today's show not only offers you the opportunity to win a book, but you're going to get to hear how to discover what your life's purpose is through one of my favorite mentors, teachers, friends, just all around good people in this world. So I'm looking forward to, in just a moment, introducing you to Michael. As always, you know I'm a hugger, so join us in comments and let us know where you're joining us from to get a virtual hug later. But also you need to comment if you want to be opportunity to win the book. So Michael, what should their comment be for that opportunity?
Well, let's see. The book is about life's purpose, so maybe we'll just get them to write the word, I want to know my life's purpose, or we're looking for the word life's purpose, and if they use the word life's purpose, it'll match what they're going to receive in the mail if they win it. Your life's purpose. So, Carol, that's what we want people to do, and then you're going to figure out who the winner is. I'm not going to tackle that.
Okay, yes, I will definitely tackle that. So I just want to really quickly introduce you to Michael. I did not ask him to send me a bio because I've known of his work, and as I tease him all the time, he lives in my head with several of his processes. But I brought him to Chicago back in 2011 and have been a big fan and follower ever since. I've taken some of his online courses. He is the ultimate trainer and gives you, like, I'm a visionary and idea person, and he immediately follows up my idea with, okay, what steps are we going to do to create that? So he really gives great processes on, for this book, it'll be about creating your life's purpose or following your life's purpose. So Michael, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really overly excited about this opportunity to talk to you and share. I mean, hopefully a lot of people already know, because I definitely talk about you in many of my talks anyway. But if they're not familiar with their work, your work, now is a chance for them to get to know you. So
okay, good stuff. Well, I'm glad to be here. Hello, everybody, and welcome. And Carol and I are going to talk today about your life's purpose. I'm going to have the audacity to think that I know what your life's purpose is. Carol, okay. you know I'm a little bit cheeky, right? I'm going to tell everybody what their life's purpose is. And it's really, really simple. But the challenge is, for some people, it's going to take a paradigm shift. This book isn't about, you should have this job or try this job. It's not about trying jobs. This is about your life's purpose. So we're going to open up with that today, Carol, telling people what I think their life's purpose is. And then we're going to talk about the processes so they can really uncover that. So I am glad to be here with you and all the people. Now, look at my t-shirt today. I'm sending positive vibrations. So that's what's happening here. I'm in beautiful Victoria, BC, and I proudly wear these t-shirts. And you want to get hugs on the street, girl? You need to wear one of these. It draws people, magnets, people that you would never imagine that would ever talk to me otherwise, to say, big burly bearded guys, dude, I like your t-shirt. Like little kids, or like you can't judge. It's like everybody, they either get it or they don't.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah. So is that your shirt to sell? Can I purchase one?
Yeah, you know what? I had a bunch of sayings, and I had my graphic guy design some, so I put them up on a t-shirt store. So I've ordered some for myself just to wear on my show and to wear around town. You know what? I'm never alone when I go to an airport. You can bet that I'm chatting with somebody. I've got 2 hours. Who's talking to me? So.
Yeah, you're very quiet. I'm so glad that you're coming out of your shell a little bit.
I know, but you know what? Well, because when I have that experience, when I meet somebody at the airport, or when I'm talking to somebody, and you know what? In the very moment, boy, I am living my life's purpose. So what does that mean for me to be living my life's purpose at an airport helping somebody out? What does that mean? So,
well, that's what I'm curious about, because I've been following you for a long time. I've read your other books, and I've done several of your courses and things. What brought you to write this book? I mean, I personally know because I've been following you, but share it with others.
Okay, well, here's the story. My first book, Law of Attraction, I had studied NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, which is the study of human behavior. It's also the study of how people like to learn and receive information. So I had that going for me. In other words, I knew how to teach a subject that was complicated. So in 2000, 1998, 99, 2000, I was teaching law of attraction. I was still working full-time for the government, right? And in the evenings, I was doing law of attraction. And then eventually I took Fridays off. I only 4 days a week. What a big transition that was. You know, I took a cut of pay. I went from 5 days a week to 4 days a week. My job allowed me to do that. But Fridays, boy, did I ever live my life's purpose on Fridays. Well, even Thursday nights. My Thursday night was most people's Friday night. So Thursday night, I was looking to go anywhere to talk about law of attraction. I go to churches. I spoke in Starbucks. I've spoken in bookstores. I've stood anywhere. If I can get 2 people in front of me, I'm talking. So this was my Friday, my only focus on Fridays. And eventually I developed a lot of following. I developed a lot of interested people. I started having people in my house, you know, to gather and talk about it. You know, people were bringing cushions. I had 44 people coming in my house just talking about, and you know, you have 44 people, you got to kind of arrange that and have structure. So before you know it, I was developing process and programs, merging what I learned about law of attraction and merging what I knew about teaching styles and how to get people to learn. So then I started doing teleclasses. I was still working for the government on Thursday nights. I'd come home and I couldn't wait to get home because I was doing a live teleclass in 1998, 1999 about law of attraction. That's all I did. Same teleclass every Thursday. And I was having lots of people. And I would send it to my webpage to download the notes. Remember, this 20 years ago, the word vibration, the word a lot, like that was, what is he talking about? And people were just really gravitated, particularly people that were looking for a different answer. Something they knew intuitively really was about vibes and vibrations, the word we use commonly today. So on that page, I said, let me know when I write. So I decided, quick little story. I went to a speaker here in Victoria when I was working for the government. He wasn't from Victoria. And I said, hey, why don't I take you out in the city tonight and take you for, you know, show you around. Victoria's Canada's #2 tourist destination. It's beautiful here. So in that walk, I said, you know, I'd really love to be a speaker like you. He said, well, you need a book. I said, you know, that was his belief. He said, well, it'd help if you had a book. I said, well, I don't have a book. But on the way home from that dinner meeting, I said, I don't have a book, but I got a binder 8 inches thick of processes and stories and people saying, oh, I love when you said this and this really helped. I said, oh, okay, well, I'll try that again. You know, just what we do, right? Oh, people responded well. I'll use that, you know, because, you know, I'm kind of famous for like little quotes and anecdotes and stuff. And so people really liked it. And then I started to put a program together. So now I was having people come to my house for 8 weeks and to do a program. So I had to put everything in order. We had to learn this first and this first and this first and this first. So before you know it, I had a 10-page workbook. And so I took a year to compile everything, all my notes, all my worksheets, all my success stories, all my testimonials. And then I took a year to make it to a 144-page book. So my book, Law of Attraction, was really a seminar first. So when people say they like the way I wrote it, it's because it's not a story about law of attraction. It's not law of attraction for the soul. It's not a bunch of stories. It is the how-to, because I'm a trainer. I'm not really a writer, although I've written 3 really good books, and I'm not really a reader. I've read 10 books in 30 years. In 30 years, I've read 10 books. But boy, can I write a good one, I'll tell you that. And that's because of my understanding about the NLP learning style. So people that like to learn visually or auditorily, or they like to do exercises, or they like processes and thinking, they all say, oh, I love the way you wrote my book. And they're referring to that I satisfy their style. So that's Law of Attraction. I sold 250,000 copies on my own. People were getting me to, remember, this is 20 years ago. There was a book that had the word Law of Attraction in the title, and it was from 1906. I have a book from 1906 that has the word Law of Attraction in the title. So my book came out in 2003. So for 3 years, I'm selling it at seminars. I traveled across the US with the Learning Annex, got millions of exposures, and sold a lot of books on my own. It was very successful. And then The Secret came out in 2006, of which I was asked to be in it twice and declined. It came out in 2006, and all of a sudden, everyone's using the word The Secret, but The Secret was really about law of attraction. So let's move forward to Oprah Winfrey interviewing the people from The Secret. I'm in Vancouver. I'm in a hotel. I have a 6 o'clock seminar to go to. Oprah's on between 6 o'clock. Oprah's on between 4 and 5, and I'm watching it because The Secret's on it, and they're talking about law of attraction, and I'm not there. So I'm watching it, and I'm listening to the conversation, and with all due respect, you can watch it yourself. This is my opinion. They were kind of contradicting each other, and and they were kind of trying to sell their own programs, and I knew it wasn't going nowhere, and I was even surprised it got as far as it did. But what happened is that instead of using the word law of attraction, The Secret, Oprah used the word law of attraction about 6 times. So people were going to Google and typing in law of attraction. And Michael Losier, who lives on a little island, a little bit bigger than Gilligan's Island on the west coast of Canada, who had a self-published book, all of a sudden, that was listed at 196. I was 196 on Amazon. So after the Oprah show, during the Oprah show, I'm pressing refresh on Amazon, waiting for the number to change, but Amazon updates at the top of the hour. Didn't matter, I'm still pumping that old refresh. What's the number? Where am I at? So I was thrilled at the end of the show, and I thought, well, and then my buddy's buzzing downstairs. He said, we're here to pick you up. I said, just give me 5 minutes. And he went on the dot. I pressed enter on Amazon, and I was 196, and it was gone. I thought, oh, okay. So I'm scrolling down. I'm in 180, 170, 160. I said, holy, you know what? Like, what's? And I thought, well, I couldn't have went the other way. I had, because I wasn't trusting now. I was in the 100s.
Right.
And I'm in the 90s. And I said, what now? And I stopped at 80. And I scrolled back up to 196. And I went up and up and up. And I said, no, something's cooking out on Amazon land. And I was number 9. I went from 176 to number 9. I was so excited. I printed off the Amazon list, 9 copies of it. Boy, I was bragging about my number 9 at my seminar. Everybody knew that I was number 9 on Amazon. A self-published author that lives on a small island on the west coast of Canada that nobody knows. I'm number 9. So boy, I was excited about that. And I knew it'd be short-lived, right? It's like, it's like everything. It just is a meter. So I came back from the seminar about 10 o'clock, and I was scared to press it. I thought, I'm going to bed with my chart. I've got a number 9. I don't want to mess up the vibe, right?
I'm in the top 10.
I said, just do it, Michael. Just do it. So with my eyes closed, I pressed enter, and I lost the number 9 spot. And I thought, was it 8? Was it 7? Was it 6? Was it 5? Was it 4? It was 3. I went from number 9 to number 3, and I had 2 books ahead of me, Harry Potter, that was not released, and The Secret. And I stayed at number 3 for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I was selling more books than I had. Now I'm calling my Canadian publisher and thinking, and Amazon is not ordering a box of books anymore. They're ordering 10,000 books. Oh, get 10,000 books. So anyway, that's what happened after Oprah had mentioned. Now, it's a longer story, but honestly, I never told the whole story before, so I'm glad to be able to do it with you guys.
I was going to just say, I don't think I've heard this whole story.
No, I don't really tell it. It's personal and vulnerable. So that's what happened after the Oprah show. I'm back at the hotel. I was number 3, and I stayed at number 3. And about a week later, and I'm traveling. I remember it, and I picked up my BlackBerry. That was a long time ago, right? and my sister, who's my assistant, calls me, and she says, no, she left a message on my phone. I was on an airplane, and I got off. She said, well, you're never going to guess who called. Well, that doesn't, to me, don't make me guess.
Right.
She used to play this game. She'd call me, she'd say, well, guess who died? And I thought, I don't want to play the guess who died game ever, okay? And I don't want to play the guess who called game, so get to it. She said, well, a producer from Oprah's, the Oprah show, Oprah show called. And they're looking to solve a problem. That's my judgment about that scenario, because when they had to, Oprah was looking for some more solutions. So Diane said, they want me to rush a book. So they did that. And I said, just so you know, you can never abuse the guess who called. You use that card. From now on, if it's not Oprah, you can never say ever, guess who called. So we had a joke about that. So now I'm in Phoenix, and then she calls me early. She's in the East Coast, so she's different times. I got to get up early. She said, guess who called? I thought, is this yesterday's recording? She said, no. I had another producer call who didn't know another producer called.
Wow.
And she found out that you were the guy that taught law of attraction. She'd like us to send her a book. I thought, oh, really? Well, that's interesting. Yes, I'm going to say it again. Diane calls her the next day and says, guess who called? So now we've sent 3 books to the office, and it's only Wednesday at $55 of shipping overnight, same day delivery. Didn't matter to me. Oprah called, right?
Right.
The office called. And then we got a call on Friday. Here's what I'm thinking in my head. It's very Wendy Williams, but in my head, they were having their weekly production meeting, and that's when the head production person found out that 3 people were on the same project, and they all had my book in their hands. Shortly after that, I got a call saying that Oprah wanted to interview me. Remember, I was traveling, and this was like in February and out. So I fly into Vancouver. They arranged to have me meet at an XM radio station where I could, be on the XM radio.
Right.
So I had a half-hour interview with her. She quoted my book. She said she'd been carrying it around. They bought a box of books. The whole office was loving, she quoted many times. She said, I love your book. I love your book, and so on and so on. And then after the half-hour interview, I put my jacket on. I put my knapsack on. I zip it up. I put my hat on. Remember, it was a little, Sherry Salata. Friday, Sherry called. So I'm all ready to go. And the producer taps on the glass. He says, Oprah. Because, Carol, after an interview, they hang up. There's somebody else. So she said, Oprah's on the line. So remember, I'm fully dressed. I have a hat on, zipped up my winter jacket, my knapsack all buckled up, and I put the headset on and I hear this. Well, you loved him last week, so we brought him back for a second interview. So nobody knows, but the second interview with Oprah, I was completely drenched. I couldn't rustle anything. And I was really just a mess through the whole interview.
It's a good thing it was on radio.
I know. And then a couple of weeks later, I leave to go to Australia. And the shows weren't live yet. They're still editing them and adding music and all that. So I knew it wasn't going to be. And Oprah's Soul Series was on Sunday. So I knew that soon they were going to air on Sunday. So I'm in Australia, and my sister calls and says, guess who called? Again. And said, Oprah wants to know if you could do live Q&A. Well, what do you think about that, Carol? Can I do a live Q&A?
I think so. Pretty sure you can.
Easy breezy. So I said yes to that. So I went to a radio station in Melbourne, Australia at 3 in the morning, because that was good time for Oprah. Didn't matter what time it was for me. And the same thing happened. I answered Q&A for a half hour, and then she said, Michael, let's do another half-hour show. So I ended up doing 4 half-hour interviews. I was the most interviewed guest on the Soul Series. And I was on the Oprah Radio 3 times a day for, I want to say like 30 or 60 days. And then they replayed it in the summer. And then one time I'm on an airplane listening to XM radio on an airplane. And I'm listening to myself, and it was so surreal. It was funny. You want to tell the person beside you that you're being interviewed by Oprah, but you don't.
Like, hello.
So that's the story. That was my success about Law of Attraction. The publisher quickly recognized that people loved my style. And they would say, everyone's really talking about, we don't get that. We don't get people bragging about the style other than the mystery writer. I said, well, I use accelerated learning techniques. I use NLP. They asked me to write the second book, was about Law of Attraction on the 4 learning styles. So I did that. Meanwhile, I'm traveling back and forth to Malaysia. I'm staying there in like 3 or 4 weeks at a time. The crew that's there, they're 4 Law of Attraction certified facilitators. They tour me around. I get in the car one day, we're going for a 2-hour drive, and they say, we always hear you talking about fulfillment. And they asked me if I want to do something. I said, no, that really wouldn't want to fulfill me. So they really liked that I had a meter, right, that I could measure what fulfill me or not. And they said, and I said, well, here's what fulfills me. 4 things. Boom, 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 boom. They said, so you make all your decisions based on those things? I said, yeah. And they said, boy, would you help me figure mine out? So now we're on a 2-hour drive, right? So in the 2-hour drive, the guy driving Siva, I'm asking him a lot of questions to uncover, I'm developing the process and not knowing it. So I'm asking him a bunch of questions to kind of uncover. And he's saying yes, and I'm taking notes and I'm writing stuff down. And so we arrived at a picnic spot on the highway, and I said, well, I think I might know what your top 4 fulfillment needs are. And he says, really? And I said, I think it's this, this, and this. Well, I floored him. And his wife was there, and she said, oh, that's so him. That is so him. And then I did the test question. I said, can you remember a job when you didn't get these 4 needs met? And him and his wife, they went dead silent. And they said, Oh, yes. And I said, were they missing? He said, oh, yes. So I tell that story to say that most people know what it means to be unfulfilled. But the notion of being fulfilled, well, that's a paradigm shift in itself, that it's okay to be fulfilled. But, you know, whether you're a CEO or whether you're a student or whether you're our age and changing job careers, we say to ourselves, you know what? I'm not doing it unless it fulfills me. We're starting to use that word a little bit more. The millennial age, they're all about fulfillment, so they know that word. But the older group, we're catching up that it's okay to be fulfilled.
Right.
Yes.
I have a question regarding, in your book, one of the examples for Trevor, who is the person, your example for career fulfillment. And I think it was like the third step process was to fill out what he liked about the job he didn't like.
Right.
And I'm just curious, like when you were working at the government, so Fridays were the day that you were really getting fulfilled, and Thursday night, what were you able to back then, or is it since then that were you able to see what did fulfill you in that job at the time? What did?
No, but they're always present.
Right.
I'm going to tell you a quick story when I was a teenager, when I didn't get them met, and I didn't know that I needed to get them met. So that's why I say now that I know, you know, on my business card, I have this on the back. It says, what are your top 4? In other words, the notion that there's 30 in the list. Here's the list right here. There's 30 fulfillment needs in the list, and the book will get you down to your top 4, 5, or 6, and then you kind of play with the. So now I know my top 4. Now my past makes sense. And now I know why I like to do Facebook Live, and now I know why I like to do this, and now I know I like to do this. So I'm going to start today off by talking about what my top 4 fulfillment needs are. And then I'm going to tell you what I think the purpose in your life might be and what you could be doing to help uncover your life's purpose. So it is a paradigm shift. So Michael Losier thinks he knows what your life purpose is. So we're going to ask for some feedback. A shout out to everybody watching live today. You might know your life purpose already. You might be confused about yours. You might be seeing other people that know theirs or don't know theirs. Or you might be changing careers and want to make sure that your needs are met this time. So in short, the purpose in life is to experience joy. Yeah, I know. Just be with me for a minute. You mean the purpose in life is just to feel good? Yes. Here is the target. The target is joy. So if the target is joy, because I know that you know what happens when we're in joy. Everything works out. We get, you know, relationships and abundance and how everything. When we have positive vibrations, that's what we want to live. So that is the purpose of life: is to feel good, is to have joy. But people would say, well, no, the purpose of my life is to be a singer. And I would say, no. Look at the outside ring, the middle ring, create strategies. So singing is just a strategy to get joy. So, oh no, the purpose of mine is to be a mother or a painter or an artist or to be a coach or a movie star or whatever. I'm thinking, no, that's not your life's purpose. Your life's purpose is joy. So what your life's purpose is to have joy. So we need to create strategies that bring us joy, which raises the question, well, and a strategy is just something to do. Well, I don't know what I need to do to bring joy, which brings us to the outside ring. Can you read that, Carol, for me? The outside ring.
Identify fulfillment needs.
That's right. And there's 30 of them. Identify fulfillment needs. So the process here will help you start with 30 fulfillment needs. It'll help you narrow the list down. Now, this list is going to be available. If you sign up, we're sending this list out on June 5th. The book is out on June 6th. I know this is going to get on the internet, so I'm making it easy for people, easy and pretty. This is the list of the 30 needs. Down below is the instructions for process number 1. There's 5 processes. You'll start with 30. You'll do process number 1, and you might reduce it by 5. So now you've gone from 30, and you made it more manageable, to 25 or 20. And then you go to the next process and the next process, and then you start to see a pattern. You're thinking, oh, wow. You know, some people don't know what it is that brings them joy. So I'm just going to recap everything you heard me say so far. The purpose in life is to experience joy and to feel good. That is the target. You know that, and I know that already. The next thing to me is, well, what strategies do I need to bring me joy? So right now, when you said, hey, Michael, can I interview you on my show about your new book? I went to my 4 needs, I did a quick chicky check, and what do you think I said?
I believe you said yes. So what are your 4 needs?
Okay, top 4 needs in this order. Number 1 is attention. Now, it might feel yucky to say, ooh, I need attention. But the Michael Losier interpretation is attentiveness. So are you being attentive right now? Yeah. When I do a book signing, when I do a seminar, when I do my hangout shows, when I do seminars, attentiveness. Meeting somebody in a coffee shop one-on-one, attentiveness. I love that. Number 1. If it's not there, I'm not in, period. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? If it's not there, I'm not in. So, and that includes in relationships, and it also includes in my work life. So the next one is influencing people in a positive way. If I'm not doing that, I'm not in. Okay? So attention and influencing people in a positive way. Am I doing that right now?
Yes.
Do I do it at a book signing? Do I do it at a seminar? Do I do it on a hangout? Do what I do on a Fridays? Do what I do at the post office? Do I do it at the airport? Yes, 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 yes. I'm in. Now my third one is intimacy, but it has a different definition. It's made up of 3 words. Into, me, see. Say it fast. Into me, see. So in other words, if you want to talk about sports and the car and weather, you don't dial my number. In other words, I don't know how to have those conversations. I'm not interested in those conversations. I'm not interested in chit chat. I want to know stuff, your stuff, my stuff. I want to help you improve. I want to make it better. So if I can get your attention and I can influence you in a positive way and we can have intimate conversations, I'm in. Now,
I have to stop you on that for just a second, and we'll discuss this at the end, but Michael does a Friday live Facebook show, and I'm going to actually be on the panel tomorrow. But it's so funny, so many of the people comment what their weather is like in their location, so we all laugh about it. So I brought up, don't talk to me about weather or sports.
No, or cars.
About your life purpose and your dreams, and then I'll talk.
Yeah. I got a quick little story. I had a friend of mine that was with his buddy, and he texted me, he said, you know what, my buddy needs some help. He said, I would never ask the favor, but can you help him out right now? And I said, well, you can have him come to my house. And then, you know, he trusted him and everything. So the guy comes in my place, and we sit on the sofa. I said, so what's up? And he goes, oh, well, what, a nice place. He goes, what kind of car do you drive? Opening question, what kind of car do I drive? And I said, oh, it's a black car. And he laughed, and he said, it's black. And now I'm so resistant to talk about my car and all that stuff. And then he says, and the next question was not interesting to me. And I thought, okay, you've got about 1 minute and you're out of here. So I thought, I gotta go for the question. And I asked him this, I said, what was it that you and Taylor were talking about that Taylor decided you needed to see me? And I could see his head was spinning. He goes, I'm having such a hard time about my breakup with my girlfriend. I thought, thank you. See how he told me about him? He let me in to see that?
Yeah.
Well, I had him crying after 18 minutes, and then I fixed all of that. And by the time he left here after an hour, half hour later, my friend Taylor texted me. He said, dude, you just have the magic touch. He said, my friend is so inspired right now to attract his ideal girlfriend. I've never heard him switch his vibe so fast and let somebody go and so on and so on. Anyway, so my point there is intimate conversation, intimacy, and I'm in. So attention, influencing people in a positive way, intimacy, and freedom is my last one. Freedom is so important to me. But even when I worked my government job, I had a lot of those things because I was like a project manager, so I didn't really have to sit at a desk. I could flutter. I could go to somebody's desk and this project, and I'd have to draw. So I was getting that freedom, and I was getting my attention. I was important. I was helping people with big problems, and people would gather around to hear this. I loved all that, so I did get my needs met. But I have one more. I have a fifth one that's starting to sneak in.
Uh-oh, what's that one?
And it's because of the emotion code. When I think about how much I love doing the emotion code, on the list, it starts with the letter U. What do you think it is? There's something about doing the emotion code that makes me feel the letter U. Anybody know out watching us, let us know what that might be. The letter U. What do you think, Carol?
That unique?
Yeah, uniqueness. there's something so unique about the emotion coach session. Just another quick story. I have no idea how much time we have, but another quick story.
We have as much time as we want.
Yeah. So 2 days ago, I'm walking to 7-Eleven to get my coffee, and all of a sudden I hear this guy say, "Dude," and I'm only a guy in the street, and I'm a dude. Chances are it could be me, right? And sometimes people recognize me, but I had a hat on. They said, "Dude," next door we said, "You're the dude that fixed my leg." And I thought, I don't remember him, but it's probably me, right? As we come over, he said, "Oh my God, dude," he goes, "I've been talking about you to everybody." He said, I met him in 7-Eleven limping, and we were buying coffee together. And I said, "Tell me about your limp." And he said, "Oh, right, it's throbbing. That's all I need to hear." And I said, "Anyway, we'll talk about that in our next interview about the emotion curve." So that happened yesterday. He stopped me on the street, and I loved it. I loved his attention. I love that I influenced him. I love the uniqueness about that. And intimate conversation. He tell me how he changed his, he stopped limping. He's been limping for 2 or 3 years with his pain and his throbbing and so on and so on. Anyway, let's go back to your life's purpose. So I'd like to hear about people about the notion that the purpose of their life is joy. What do you think about that? Can you give yourself permission to be selfish? Ooh, there's a dirty word. So Carol, my hunch is that what Michael Losier's definition of selfish is. What would that be?
Self-care.
Selfish, selfish is self-care. I'm selfish about selfish enough about myself that I wouldn't include things that didn't give positive vibration. Even if I was in a grocery store and if people were complaining behind me, I would move lineups or I'm so selfish about what I include. Because we can be so easily influenced. And my only job is to mind my own vibration and keep it pure. So what do you think about? Yeah, there we go. Mary Jo saying, yes to selfish, self-care, self-love. It's okay. It's okay and it doesn't mean we can't get ticked off and angry, but there's a key to that, Carol. What is the key to getting ticked off? We're saying it's okay in Law of Attraction School. Why is it okay?
To manage your own vibration?
Yeah, no. To get ticked off. We can get ticked off as long as we do it how long?
Oh, we don't give a lot of attention to it.
That's right. Just briefly.
Many times, it's you get to decide how long that brief is. Like something for you may be briefer than me or vice versa. That's right.
Yeah, and then once you get the way to get clarity about that kind of stuff is saying, well, you don't like that. What would you like instead? In other words, keep shifting the vibration there. So I want to give people an opportunity to get a copy of this even before they buy their book, and then they can go through step number 1. So if they go to hangoutwithmichael.com/life purpose, they can subscribe. We are sending this out to people on June 5th. And next week, I'm going to be doing a lot of Facebook Lives talking to people like you that have read the book or people that just got the book. But I wanted to also show this little graphic to people, and I really want people to think about it. This is the joy meter. I don't know if these even exist anymore, parking meters, but this is old school parking meter. So it's measuring joy. So the question is, what are you doing to feed your meter? What are you doing to feed your joy meter? Well, ideally, you'd be creating strategies that get your fulfillment needs met, which brings us to, what are your fulfillment needs? And once you understand what your fulfillment needs are, everything changes. And then you can start to make decisions with clarity. And then you can start to make decisions with, what's the opposite of guilt? Instead of being guilty about saying no to something, you can do it with confidence. Yeah, you can say with confidence, I've turned down gigs, listen to this, I've turned down gigs to go to China, 16-hour flight one way, to talk to 15 people for 40 minutes with a translator. I said, absolutely not. I didn't even have to go down the list. Yeah. That would satisfy money. That's the only thing that would have gotten from that was I would have gotten paid. But that would be 3 days out of my life, and I would not been, And here's the thing with the translator. They don't even look at me. They're looking at the translator. So now the translator has my attention needs. I have another quick little story. My sister, Diane, who's also my assistant, sometimes come to big seminars with me to kind of oversee stuff. And she's at the back of the room one time. And I was talking about that I was writing a book called Fulfillment Needs, and I know what my fulfillment needs are. And I said, oh, you know what? I remember, and honestly, I was puzzled. I thought, I did this. I said, I remember my very first job. And I said, I hated it. And the room got quiet. They wanted to hear more. And then Diane says, she yells out loud from the back of the room, oh, I remember that day. You called me crying at noon to come pick you up, but don't tell mom and dad. And it's true. I was like 15. So Diane came pick me up, and she took me to her workplace. And I sat off to the side of her desk until after work. And then I had to go home and tell my mom and dad I quit. So let's recap my fulfillment needs. Attention, intimacy, influence, and freedom. And you know what I was doing? I was mowing lawns at a graveyard by myself. So back then, I didn't know why I didn't like it, but now it's like, and then I went from that job to a waiter in a breakfast restaurant. Loved it. I got all my needs met there. But at the time, I didn't know why. But now that I know, it's like, oh, it's because I got this and this and this and that. So the question for you is saying, for everybody watching, is if you're bored and you don't like what you're doing, then something's missing. And if you're experiencing love and you're feeling on purpose as far as feeling your joy, and that means something is present. So what needs to be present for you, or what's missing from you? So the book's available right now on pre-order. It's released on next week on June 6th. So if you're watching this before June 6th or after, you can get it on Amazon. And certainly pick up the list before the book is released, and then you can have a sneak peek at the process.
Well, and one of the things I liked about, I like it all, of course, but even when you were talking about that one exercise in the book about discussing the things you did like about your least favorite job, it goes back to giving attention to what you want rather than giving attention to what you don't want. And if it's your least favorite job, there's obviously a lot of things in it that you don't want. So I really like that. Re-shifting again. It's that positive influence that you like to do. It was one of my favorite parts of the book. I haven't completed, I looked it all over, but I haven't filled it in yet. But so I'm excited to do that because I think I know my fulfillment needs. But I'll be interested to once I actually do each exercise to see if they've shifted at all.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. You know, one thing about all of my books, they're in the self-help department, and you know what that means? You need to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So when you look at it, I'm just going to show you. There's processes, there's worksheets in the book, there's cartoons, there's diagrams, there's samples on how it was done with other people. I can honestly say that I'm a master trainer and a master teacher. I know how to present information that's challenging and difficult for most people, and it's because I know how to teach the 4 styles. So, there's Lucy. So we got characters in this book too.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say, Michael, the work I do, I have been involved in event management for many years. I have hosted speakers in Chicago, and I've seen many speakers. There really isn't anybody that does it better than you. There's different topics, of course, but you really do get every single person involved because you so intimately know the 4 different it's not like you look at him like, oh, he's teaching this now, and oh, he's teaching this now. It's so seamless that you have no clue, but everybody feels like you have addressed them personally because you've met them in the style that they need to hear it from. So it's really, he really is one of the best teachers that I know, if not the best teacher that I know.
Thank you. Well, my rule in my head is that within the first 25 seconds, I have 100% of the audience raise their hand for something. And now I got full participation within 22 seconds, and then I hold it for the entire seminar.
Yeah.
You've been there. You saw the magic work.
Yeah.
Okay, this was fun today. Do you want to tell folks what we're doing next? I don't even know the date of it. I just know I'm excited for when it's going to happen.
A week from today, on June 8th, I'm going to have Michael back. I'm sure I'm going to ask him back many other times, but this is right now the only scheduled other visit. And we're going to be talking about the emotion code. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm going to invite somebody to be part of our discussion so he could actually do an emotion code session on somebody who is, you're wanting somebody with chronic pain, correct? Somebody who's dealing.
Yeah, someone that's got, pain, and someone that can come say, right now, on a scale of 1 to 10, this feels like a 7 or an 8, and it's been here for months, and I've tried everything. We want to hear from you. You've tried everything. You can measure the pain from 1 to 10, and you're willing to be seen doing it live. And I will become your proxy. That means on your behalf, I will tap into your subconscious mind to find out what the trapped emotions that you're storing in this area, because all chronic pain, aches and pains, is stored negative emotions. I will find out what they are. I'll remove them for you, and I will fix your neck, if it's a neck. So
Yeah, so I'll figure out a way that I invite people to submit their names in and figure out, because I would have to send you a link to be able to participate outside of the comments and actually be on the screen with us. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I think one of the things, there's so many things, but your life's purpose, like when I'm talking to people and coaching people, I always tell them, or to really get them to consider what their values are and use their values as a guide in yeses and nos. Like, are your values aligned with this person's values and things? I think it really, at the end, comes down to your purpose and what fulfills you. What my value is what brings me to joy.
Yes, values, needs, drivers, fulfillment needs. I created the word fulfillment needs. It didn't exist. I just took, like, for example, read a couple of these ones. Accomplishment, achievement. They're not on my list, but they could be on somebody else's list, right? So I didn't make up these words. I just put them under the umbrella of fulfillment needs. Yeah. These needs fulfill people. So we're not used to talking about being fulfilled. We're talking about being unfulfilled. That's the common conversation people have.
Right. I do have a question about that, because, again, in the book, I really liked it how you said, here's the 30 words, and you have 2 questions to ask people if they want to add another word.
That's right. Yeah.
Can you give that? I love the example of when people say money is a fulfillment need.
Yes.
Can you give that example of how it?
Yeah, well, money's one of my needs. I say, well, no, money's not a need. It's not a feeling. So if you took an onion and you stripped away the layers and say, well, when I have money, then what?
Yeah.
Well, everybody's answer is different. When I say, well, then I have money, then what? I said, well, I would take a trip. And I don't just take a trip. If I'm going to go somewhere, I'm going to speak when I'm there. So I said, so you see how I'm creating that experience with the money. So the money wasn't the fulfillment need, but it helps me experience more of my other freedom needs. Is it freedom that it's experience, or is it attention, or what am I doing with the money? So money's important. Money helps me do the things that I want. We need to love it, and we need to feel good about money.
Yeah, I just thought that was a really good example. And I was trying to think, it's like, what words would I try to add to that list? But I could quickly put them in the 30 words that you use. So I have posted the link for people to be able to sign up for that list, and I'll also go back and add the link for people to purchase your book on Amazon. But I'm super excited about next week. I'm intimate with Michael's work. That message me on the Positive Focus, and I will then get the address to Michael on how he can get you a copy of that book. So Melissa, congratulations. I can't wait to hear what you think of it, because I've read the PDF version, and I'm already pre-ordered my copy, so I'm looking forward to having my hands on it. And Michael, somebody had commented on one of your lives